Adults, what is something you'd love receiving as a gift but no one even considers giving you because you're an adult? I'd like some of them pills that turn into dino sponges when you put them in water. So I'm 34 now and no longer with this girl, but for my 32nd birthday my girlfriend at the time did a scavenger hunt around the house with little gifts for each step and a weekend away as the final gift. Definitely one of my cooler birthdays as an adult. 1-2 pk of Play-Doh, the ultimate 150 Crayola crayon set, the one with the sharpener and some drawing paper. I turn into an 8-year-old. A few Nancy Drew books. My parents didn't have money for books. The small Catholic school library offered books on saints, U.S. presidents, and their wives. The public library wasn't in walking distance. I lied when Susan Sample, a classmate, accused me of befriending her for the sleuths books. 55 years later, I'll fess up, yes, I preferred my time with Nancy more than you. At 18 my parents would laugh if I asked for Legos. They never bought them for me unless I asked, and stopped buying them for me when I was 9 because I was too old. When I play with my siblings' Legos I get brutally mocked, but I honestly think that Legos are ageless and super great, not just as a toy but as a hobby in general. Idk. Not a gift, but would someone play hide and seek with me please? Legit anything that glows in the dark. I think it's so fun, but since I'm grown I get basic non-glowy stuff. Edit, typo plus just wanted to say thanks for all the suggestions. I'm about to go buy some glowy shit. Edit 2. Just an update in case anyone sees this again. Apparently my apartment complex doesn't allow the glow-in-the-dark stars for your walls, so now I have to take them all down. An invite to go out for ice cream cones. I got a call from a friend. She said it's a birthday and we should all come over. I got the date/time and event correct, but not whose birthday it was, although I was confident it was for a kid. Why else would she say, bring the whole family? We show up and I'm frankly concerned by all the craft beer with bows and balloons on it. I set our gift bag down and we join the party. Shortly after, her husband shouts with joy and wants to know who got him the big Lego set. Well, that was me, and, you're welcome. So, my answer is Legos. Adults want Legos. A full laser tag set with at least 4 guns. Roller skates. Art kits. Used to get them almost every year as a kid. When I started going to college, the kits stopped coming. Edit, these are some of the most wholesome replies I've ever read, and thanks for the likes. Love you all. A Super Soaker with the latest Super Soaker technology. My birthday is in August, Northern Hemisphere, so I would put it to use straight away. Plus highs. Give me all the plus highs. A teddy bear. Parents of Reddit, what's the worst kids show you have to suffer through? My wife is trying to help our daughter learn some sign language, and has found some YouTuber called Ms. Rachel. She just sings songs and sounds out words and does some hand signs. And it honestly seems to be working, because she's starting signing and saying more. But I have heard this same video play so much that just the sound of this woman's voice makes me irrationally angry. I would rather sit through hours of watching Cocomelon or Mickey Mouse Clubhouse by myself than hear this video again, even if it's just background noise. Edit, there are apparently 2 Miss Rachels doing signing on YouTube. I'm talking about this one. Fucking Ryan's World. Thank God mine just outgrew it. Now it's Siren Head 24/7. Ryan's Toy Review. Ryan's World on YouTube. It's just so stupid and boring, and the production value is so low. It also heavily focuses on materialism and buying more shit. Plus the parents are in every episode and they're boring too. It just insufferable, but my son likes it. 90% of content aimed at kids on YouTube. So mind-numbing and lazy. Toy unboxing videos on YouTube. They have essentially been banned in our house. They speak to children like they're goddamn imbeciles. I'm reading all these comments and I'm starting to get scared for all the kids' TV shows I used to like. Not a parent, but my nieces and nephews watch reaction videos to reaction videos. So like a dude will be streaming a video game and making comments on his gameplay, sometimes reacting wildly to jump scares etc. Then someone makes a video reacting to the gamer's reaction and gameplay, mostly screaming things like "OMG, did you see how high he jumped and how loud he yelled?" Then my nieces and nephews comment to each other about how great the reactions are and react themselves. I think that someone should film me listening to my nieces and nephews' comments, i.e. me in mostly confused and annoyed state. We must go deeper until the original streamer's video game is just a little pixel. Not really a show, but those YouTube videos of influencer kids are the worst, like Nastya and Vlad and Nikki, I think they're named. I think these specific ones I mentioned are Russian, so there's no dialogue, just weird gibberish chipmunk voices and sounds. Just awful. Let my kid watch maybe 3 videos before banning it in my house. Nothing to learn except how to be wasteful. It's not my kid but the kid of my old housemates. She would watch nothing but the direct-to-DVD Tinkerbell movies over and over again. I didn't mind at first, but after a while, I couldn't take it just being on constantly in the background and ended moving my PC out of the living room and into my own room so I could watch things and game in peace. I banned Kalu. Tough call. Either Special Agent OSO or Animal Mechanicals. Both were painful to watch. We did start telling the kids that Special Agent OSO was broken and wouldn't play on the streaming service anymore. Maybe that's a sign it was worse. Watching something enough times on repeat will always make it the worst. The current one is Spy Day and His Amazing Friends. When my children were young it was Teletubbies. Booba, it's so freaking creepy. Redditors who work at factories, what's the scariest thing you've seen a machine do to a person? Saw a co-worker's foot get severed by a dock plate that was not secured properly. I got Red Wing safety boots from the company. Although I felt bad for the guy when he came back to work in a wheelchair with his wife to say hi. I was an electrician at a large lawnmower manufacturing plant and I was assigned at one time to the press room where large steel parts were stamped out. There were numerous people who lost bits or whole fingers, but one night I was called to a machine that had malfunctioned and severed a guy's arm from about midway between his elbow and shoulder, wedging him in the machine. That was pretty gnarly. It wasn't the blood that bothered me, it was the screaming. My father and I worked in a box manufacturing factory. There is a machine called the shredder, which is an 8-foot wide rotating crusher style blade that pretty much just shreds fucked up orders that we can't ship out. Another thing about the factory, it gets super hot in the building. Someone had been working by the shredder and passed out from the heat and had fallen into the shredder and ended up getting chewed up from the waist down. Dead before anyone even noticed he was missing. Saw a 590F iron heat press crunch someone's arm at 7 bar. About 100 psi. The press had been acting up due to a wonky solenoid. While the operator was fixing a material rip due to the press, it grabbed him. And it didn't let go. Another operator heard the screaming and took a ball-peen hammer to the solenoid to release the pressure. Fucked up day for all parties involved. I watched a guy tip over a fully extended genie boom. The fall arrest whipped him around like a slingshot and unfortunately he didn't make it to the hospital. On another job, bridge building crew, a foreman tossed a large scrap lag bolt off the deck of the bridge. It hit a man directly in the hard hat 40 below on the ground, he died instantly. I worked for an automotive manufacturer years ago. One of the maintenance guys had a bad knack for bypassing safety devices. Popsicle sticks and limit switches, removing guard panels and leaving them off, you name it. He wormed his way into an automated welding system with a large turntable. It was still powered on since he didn't believe in Lotto. Watched as he stood up and the turntable came across his torso and folded him down like he was made out of Play-Doh. His whole body squeezed down into a 4-gap. Dead instantly. I worked at a milk processing factory where we had to use both caustic and acids to clean out the pipes in between production cycles. We had to manually take apart the pipes and reroute them to go to the cleaning lines. I go to do this in a separate area, but a coworker starts the wash without making sure everything is hooked up properly. In the middle of changing the pipe routing, I get completely doused in dilute acid that was residual from the last time it was washed. I'm used to getting hit with water when hooking up these lines though, so I don't think much about it, but the water just does not stop flowing, so I get confused. About 10 minutes later I realize my skin is starting to burn. I got put out of work for, thankfully, only first-degree burns on 85% of my body with somehow no damage, only to my face and genitals. It's scary to look back on because if that was the caustic I got hit with, I'd probably be dead or severely injured. That stuff is meant to break down organic materials specifically. At a plastic factory, a girl reached under a gate to try to pull a part that had got stuck in the mold out while the machine was shooting the next part. Her hand got shut in the mold when it closed and mangled her fingertips. Another time that I wasn't there, a guy moved a panel off an electrical source to clean around it and got electrocuted. There was a complete breakdown of everyone's safety training. He was knocked unconscious and nobody remembered what they were supposed to do. The supervisor couldn't remember how to dial 911 because he didn't know how to use the phone to get an outside line since the phones were all connected to each other and you had to dial 9 plus the number if you wanted to use it like a regular phone. The guy ended up being okay. He shot up after 30 seconds or so and yelled, "I'm back." We had to retrain everyone on safety procedure after that. Not a machine exactly but related to the machine. A maintenance employee climbed into a large silo that was used to store beverage mix. These silos have nitrogen pumped in on top of the product to achieve positive pressure and maintain sterility. The silo was empty of product but still contained nitrogen. First employee climbed in and passed out due to the lack of oxygen. Another employee witnessed this and climbed in to save them. That employee passed out too. I believe a third person did the same thing before someone figured out what was going on and they got help. No one died thankfully. Not a factory but a crusher. Heavy-duty machinery mishap. The guy's head got smashed pretty badly and after 2 weeks of fighting for his life, he didn't make it. I'm still shaken to my core from that. I designed a machine that skinned cuts of meat. A guy at the factory we installed it removed the safety guard so he could work quicker. Thing tore his arm off up to the elbow and dragged him in up to the shoulder and held him. I worked in restoration for a bit and one of my co-workers with long hair was using a stationary belt sander. Watched it rip a good-sized chunk of his scalp right off. Never heard a man scream like that. Still haunts me. I was working in a plastic mold injection plant once. One of the grease monkeys went to check the oil on one of the big presses and a valve blew and hosed him down on the spot. He was very lucky he did it at the start of the shift and the oil wasn't up to temps. They didn't let him check the oil after that. Not me personally, but I've had a colleague who used to work at an ice cream factory and one of the quality checkers was trying to test the quality of the ice cream on a weekend in the big vats. Instead of switching the machine off, he leaned in and fell head first and due to the viscosity he couldn't swim and drowned. Apparently he wasn't found until Monday. Not a factory, but high school wood shop. Guy running a router switched it off, and while it was still spinning down, turned it so the cutter caught his shirt and destroyed his stomach. Dude survived but had a gnarly scar.